guys, good evening. Welcome to PatFacts, Friday the 13th, November 13th, 2020. I hope everyone's having a great day. We're going to talk a little bit about Friday the 13th tonight, and also today's World Kindness Day. So how we can kind of take that and move forward with it to continue it on through the weekend, and again going forward, like we kind of talked about before, and then with some other of our challenges. So again, hope you had a great week. We're getting ready for the good weekend. We had such nice weather. Hopefully gets that fresh air break every day. Reminder, even though the weather's getting colder again, we still need that fresh air break every day, at least a little bit of something. Again, even if it's just out on the front step, to grab a bit of fresh air, or if you can get out for a walk or something, that's even better, because you get movement and fresh air together. Two birds, one stone. That's a little bit of multitasking, and that's multitasking we can do, but we'll talk about that more another time. But again, we need to prepare. We need to layer up, look at the weather before you go, see what the conditions are, dress in layers, especially this time of year. You never know kind of really what it's going to be like until you get outside. I know this afternoon we got home and there was a bit of a ice pellet, freezing rain kind of thing that came down for just a few minutes. But again, you got to be ready for that stuff. So prepare for what you're doing. You can still get fresh air breaks, even though it's trickier in the winter. You just have to prepare for it and plan for it a little bit. So hopefully, though, you get those nice weather ones in through the week. And again, prepping for more seasonal, it looks like, going forward. So again, do what you need to do. Layer up, dress appropriately, pick different times of the day. Just like summertime, we suggested early morning or evening to beat the heat. Maybe go a little more midday if that's the warmest part of the day, or when you can get it in, or think of those times, sun's still up, it's going to be warmer than when it gets dark. So again, try to adjust your times accordingly to make the most of the day, to make yourself the most comfortable you can be, because you're more comfortable with it. Again, chances are better that you'll stick with it and keep going forward. Speaking of being comfortable, as I mentioned, today is Friday the 13th, everyone's most favorite day. It's my favorite day. 13 was my number playing sports growing up. I got stuck with it. I think the first year I picked it because I heard double-digit numbers were bigger in jersey sizes, and that was kind of one of the few left, so I picked it. And no one else really wanted it or ever did again because of the bad luck stigma with it. So that became my number, what I held on to as long as I could through high school and even after into intramurals and different things. If I can get 13, I try to. And again, most people don't want it. So sometimes it's even left out of jerseys and I have to kind of fight for it a little bit to be included. But I always try to embrace the day and make the most of it, just like any other day. Friday the 13th has that negative connotation, that stigma. I saw someone post today that the last Friday the 13th we had was in March, and we all know what happened kind of around that weekend. So maybe this will signify the end and a new beginning. But the way people are acting, I'm not really sure. So, but we're going to do what we always do, control the controllables. Friday the 13th, it's a Friday. We're going to make the most of it, do what we need to do to get us through that Friday, to set us up for the weekend. Whether you're working on the weekend, whether you have projects to accomplish, or whether you're kind of taking things easy to get ready for the week ahead, let's still do the work. Think of it as just a typical Friday. And a lot of us get really down about Mondays because we're back to the work and back to the swing of things. But again, Monday's just a day. It's our approach. We've talked about perspective. It's all your perspective. You can dread Friday the 13th and think of the unlucky things that could or couldn't happen. Or you could go out and control your controllables and make the most of the day, just like a Monday. You can dwell on it and, oh, case of the Mondays and what am I going to do and back to work and blah, blah, blah. Or, again, Sunday night, set yourself for success on Monday. Have your plans in place. Have your systems where they need to be. Have things ready so that when the Monday gets here, you can hit the ground running and have a good, successful day by building confidence and getting things done and accomplished. And eventually you'll start to look forward to the Monday. And again, you'll enjoy that break on the weekend if you have it, or maybe that different style of work if you're doing things from home over the weekend. But again, the more we can make the most of a Monday, then the more we'll get out of it, the more we'll get used to it, and the better we'll feel about it. Again, just like a Friday the 13th. Because of the pandemic, some of you may not even notice it was Friday the 13th, because a lot of us don't even know what day it is, because we've been under this pandemic since, again, like I said, March. So we're quite a few, I think it's 8 months now that we're into this. So it's been a long road. So a lot of the days blend together. But again, it's all about making the most of our days, setting ourselves up the night before to get the most out of the following day that we can. And again, that's your approach. So again, hopefully you've been making the adjustments necessary so that you have systems in place, so then you can apply that system to other areas of your life. So if it was maybe fitness you focused on before, or nighttime routine, or a daytime routine, maybe your list and checklist and that sort of thing. And again, now take some of that and apply it to the other areas of your life that you want to improve on. And all those things, again, will help work together to create that overall great picture of a great life, being operationally fit, ascending till the end, all the things we're striving to accomplish. Again, it takes time, it takes work, but all those little pieces can work together to make one big effective unit of making ourselves very efficient and high performing. And that's what we should all be striving to be, as high performing individuals, always getting better each day. So again, just a reminder, because of Friday the 13th, I know there's that stigma behind it, or I've seen some posts with somewhere in the Jason hockey mask with a COVID mask on top of it. Have some fun with it. It's all how you approach things. Again, things have been heavy this last 8 months or so. It's all how you approach things. Take a look at things, again, perspective. Find the lighter side of things. Find the silver lining of things, or think glass half full more than half empty perspective. Those are the things we need to do right now. Find a good laugh. We need that. It's like good medicine for us. It's therapeutic. It feels really good. So find those ways to enjoy the day. If you're big into the movie Friday the 13th, maybe you watch a couple if that's your thing. If not, then again, watch something else. Just something you enjoy. Make yourself ready for the week. And again, always think about your perspective. We choose how we react to something, how we respond to something. We choose that. We can choose whether it's a good or a negative response. So just like this Friday the 13th, or like I said, on Mondays, we kind of say, the case of the Mondays, and maybe it starts Sunday night. It's all how we perceive things and how we approach things. And that's where the difference comes in for being positive and having maybe a really successful, productive day, and being very negative and maybe not having the success and the productivity that we're looking for. Thanks, Bonnie. Have a great weekend as well. And you too, stay safe. Try to stay out of trouble as best you can. I'm just kidding. So again, it's approach. What are you going to do? How are we going to look into those days where things are a little hard? Maybe there's something coming up, even an event at work, or just something you need to tackle that you've been putting off for a long time. Again, it's perspective. What are you going to do? How are you going to approach it? How can you make it maybe more enjoyable so you can plug away at it and work away at it and accomplish the goal you're setting out? Maybe, again, you break things down into smaller chunks and sections, so it's a little more attainable. You get that kind of reinforcement, getting a bunch of little goals done leading to that big goal. Maybe you ask for a bit of help and get someone to assist you, or ask how they've attacked or approached this task that you've got coming up. Maybe do some research, maybe make a plan of attack, maybe look at when you want to do it, think of your most productive times maybe, or your most energetic times. Again, there's lots of things to take into account, but it all comes back to planning. Have a plan, have a system or a process, however you want to look at it, and have those in play so that, again, you can have the most success possible. That's what it's all about. So that's sort of the first little bit I want to chat about. It's just, again, the stigma and the approach of Friday the 13th. And again, it reminded me of kind of Mondays, how that's a constant kind of negative approach that a lot of people have. So if every week you have at least one of those days, that's going to lead into it becoming more and more of a habit of, it's Tuesday now, I still got 4 or 3 days left of the week. What am I going to do? And it's Wednesday, I'm only halfway. It can kind of snowball into that negative perspective. Where if we can have a really good Monday, again, that sets us up for success for the rest of the week too, where we get maybe even more things done. So that, again, if you're working a Monday to Friday kind of position, then by Friday, because you've focused and had such great success during the week, when you leave on Friday, the weekend's here, you can actually enjoy yourself and relax and recover or do the things you need to get done around the house, whatever the case is. But it's different. It gives you that break from things. So again, when you come back on Monday to work, it's fresh perspective. It's new again. It's different. It's exciting because of all the things you get done the previous week. So again, really think and focus on your perspective. That's where also our gratitude practice that we talked about back in October, about a month ago, right around Thanksgiving. And I extended it again, our challenge, into Halloween, and hopefully it's something you're carrying on. If not, again, get it back going again. Start it up. Remember how you felt doing that. That challenge turned to a practice. And that can help too, of having gratitude for being able to go to work, or being able to get up on a Monday or do something, or having Friday the 13th to maybe enjoy some movies or take the time, or know the weekend's coming. Whatever the case is, express that gratitude. It's one of those mindset pieces that help you, again, have good perspective and have good ambition toward the week ahead, and get us off on the right foot. We talked about that snowball effect. It can be negative kind of momentum that builds, or positive. And again, where's that choice come from? Right, us. We decide how things are going to go and how things are starting and what we can or can't control. So that's where the momentum comes from. So it's very important to remember that and look at maybe certain events, certain activities. How do you perceive them? How do you approach them? If it's negative and down, then you probably go into that event feeling that way, or that task, whatever the case is. So maybe try flipping your approach. Look at a different way to approach it. Look at how you can think about it in a more positive way. What positive spin can you put on it? What silver lining can you find in that task that maybe you're not looking forward to? Because we can't always love everything, but what can we like about it? Maybe we can like that when we get done, we'll be done with it and we can move on. Maybe that's your silver line. You know, if I can work really hard and plug away at it, even though I don't really want to do it, if I get it done, the sooner I get it done, the sooner I can move on. It's off my plate and I can move on to the things I want to do more. Or again, maybe there's little pieces of it that you can look at, or maybe you get to work with someone that you don't normally get to work with, even though it's something you don't enjoy. Having the camaraderie and the company there maybe can make a difference. So again, it's perspective, taking a look at things, how you approach different situations, and how that can change the outcome, whether it's a quicker outcome, whether it's just a more pleasant outcome, and then something you can enjoy and appreciate, and again, grow and develop from. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, as I mentioned, today was World Kindness Day. So hopefully you were kind to each other, and those that you know and that you don't know. If you weren't, there's still time. You can get a bit of kindness in. We're just thinking again of trying to expand this. Ideally all the time. We should always try to be kind, but let's really ramp it up over the next couple of days, over the weekend, get people going here in Ontario, and I think a lot of other places as well. Like I said, we had really nice warm weather. Now it's shifted back to more seasonal. It was gray today, off and on because of the clouds. So people are going to get into that little bit of funk of not being as upbeat as they were when it was 20 degrees last week. So again, a little extra kindness, a little extra patience, some happiness towards each other is going to go a long way in making someone's day, making them feel a little better. We've talked before about you be the I in kind. So you say, I put the I in kind, and what are different ways you can be kind to those around you. Again, people you know, people you don't know, people at stores that are waiting on you, or restaurants if you're out, people you deal with on the phone if you're calling different places, or have calls coming in, or you're doing orders, things like that. Just reaching out to someone that you haven't talked to in a long time and calling them, or doing something on with technology like a FaceTime or something. Reach out to someone and say hello, see how they're doing, check in, and just talk to them. Share some fun stories. We talked the other day on Remembrance Day about if you talk to the veterans, to ask them questions and listen to their stories. They like and appreciate that someone wants to hear what they've been through, so they can share those experiences. And it does brighten a lot of their days because they get to share their history and share their story and reminisce a little bit on what went on. So again, that's sort of a kind act, is just being a listener to somebody. A lot of people need that in their life. So anytime you can be a good listener, be a good friend, give someone a shoulder if they need it, make sure they have their mask on, obviously, or maybe like a like an extension of your shoulder. So they have their 6 feet distance, but again, be there for people who need it. Check in with them. Be a really good person. Little things that we kind of again take for granted that we talked about on Wednesday. Little things like smiles, please and thank you, holding the door open for someone so they can go ahead, let someone with that one thing in line maybe go ahead of you because you've got a full cartload of things. Whatever the case is, I saw a post a couple weeks ago now, I think, from it was Giant Tiger here in Barrie on the north end. A lady commented to them that she let someone go in front of her because he just had a couple things or something. So she said, "Oh, you go ahead. I'm not in a rush. You go first." I have a cart and everything, and he had to get somewhere or whatever. Anyway, she let him go in front, and when she went up to pay for her things, he had bought her a $25 gift card to Giant Tiger. So he paid for a proportion, or at least, of what she had because he wanted to thank her for her kindness. He was just so kind of, he was just so, I'm trying to think of the word, so overtaken with that happiness and that kindness and that act that he felt he had to pass it on and pass it back to her. And that's such a great story. And those are types of things that, unfortunately, we don't hear enough of. It's all the negative stuff that gets reported. So something like that, something just simple. I remember when I first moved to Ontario, I was at a store in Alliston getting groceries. And again, I had a cart of things or a basket of things. And one of the workers came up behind me with her lunch, I'm pretty sure. And I said, "Oh, go ahead." And she said, "What?" And I said, "Oh, you go ahead. I've got a bunch of stuff. You got one thing. Silly for you to wait. You go ahead." And you would have sworn I'd given her $1 million. So, "Oh, thank you so much." And she thanked me about 25 times. She went through, and it was just simple. And again, for me, it was just something that we did. It's something that I do. Growing up, we always would do that same thing. It was kind of a common practice. So, again, you never know when little things are going to make a big difference for the people that you're interacting with, again, whether you know them or not. So let's extend Kindness Day to Kindness Weekend into, let's even do Kindness Month and onward if we can. But let's really be focused on it this weekend. How can we be more kind before we go into a store or to interact with someone? Maybe think, how can I be as kind as possible? How can I put the I in kind as I'm going to deal with this person or this situation or be around this group, whatever the case is? How can I, if I'm going to film a video to post, how can I be kind in that? How can I express that to people? Because that kindness fills buckets. We talked about that before as well. Being a bucket filler, being kind to people helps fill their bucket. They feel good about themselves, and then that in turn fills your bucket as well. You feel a bit better about yourself. And then the person you're kind to will probably have a bit better day, or at least a bit better moment, which we can all use. Sometimes that moment is, again, a big difference if they're having a really rough day or having to deal with a lot of things. That just brief moment can make a big difference for them. And potentially they could be more willing to pass that kindness forward, whether it's like the person at Giant Tiger who passed it back to the lady who was kind to him, or if they pay it forward to someone else that they see, maybe intentionally or unintentionally, or just maybe being in a better mood. Maybe they smile at the next person they deal with, or more patient, or more calm, or happier, or remember their simple things like manners, like please and thank yous or something, just to, again, share that kindness and to almost diffuse the tension that we're all feeling right now and have been for so many months now, because there's so much going on this year. It's such a heavy year. It seems like every time we turn, something else has happened in a variety of different areas, whether it's medically, socially, whatever the case is. It's been very heavy. So just that brief moment of breaking the tension and diffusing us a little bit, again, it's nice. It can carry on into the day. Bonnie says it's a win-win situation for both. Definitely, Bonnie. Yeah, it's so true. You feel better because you were kind. That person feels better because they were treated kindly or had kindness expressed towards them. So you both feel better. You both feel great. It's definitely a win-win situation. And that's what we want, more wins. More wins, less losses, for lack of a better term. We want more light, less darkness. We can't get out of this darkness unless there's more light shone. Same as anything else. Sean, is that a word? Sean? I think it's a word. There's just more light around us. Same as anything else. If there's darkness at night, we can't get out of the darkness unless we turn lights on. More light drives the darkness away. That's how we have to think of things now too. The kindness is our light. My mentor and friend Todd Durkin says, be a lighthouse. If you think of a lighthouse in the ocean, it's there to guide ships out of the darkness and away from danger. If the lighthouse wasn't there, the boats wouldn't see the rocks and the shallow water, the dangers, and they would run aground. And there would be more and more issues come of that because there'd be so much darkness. The lighthouse gives that light, that shine, shows them the way to go or where to avoid to stay out of the darkness and the danger. So we need to be the lighthouses here. We need to show our kindness and share it and spread it with those around us so that, again, they can stay out of the darkness and spend a little more time in that light. Again, even if it's just for a brief moment, that can make a big difference for someone in how their day goes. Or maybe that little bit of glimpse of light maybe keeps them going into deep darkness and having a really rough day. Maybe they just got to hit that edge of the dark side, to throw some Star Wars terms out, where they can just maybe see where they want to be or have a little bit of better because maybe it's dim, not dark, so they can see where they're going. Again, that little bit of light from you could make all the difference for them in the day they have. And again, you spend more time in light too by sharing light. It's brighter around you. So you feel better, you have a better day as well. And again, those days start to add up and accumulate, and more lightness and more days. And if I shine light to you and you shine light to people, again, that's that positivity pandemic. That's that ripple effect we talk about of one affecting another, affecting another, affecting another. And that's how we're, again, going to overcome this kind of dark time, this heavy time, is with light. Whether you think of light as positivity or light being something lighter content, something fun and enjoyable, all those things count. And that's what we want to have, is more light, less dark, so that, again, we can progress forward and get through this and get on to bigger and better and brighter things that are ahead for us. So that's your sort of, that's your mission for the weekend. And again, obviously we don't want to just make it one day or a weekend, but again, really focus on it, emphasize it, and make a point to think, how can I be more kind, or how can I bring kindness to this situation? A lot of times it just happens. Maybe it's a habit, or if the moment calls for some kindness, then we're kind. But let's really try to be conscious of it the next couple of days. How can I bring kindness to this situation, whatever it is, a meeting, an interaction, going to a store, again, whatever the case is, try to think, how can I bring kindness to the situation? And then when you're done, reflect. How did the kindness make you feel? Did you notice the person react maybe to your kindness on the other side of the conversation or the interaction? Or maybe what were some ways I could bring even more kindness to this next time? Or knowing this, should I think of this practice all the time? Should I always bring this kindness to this type of situation? Maybe because there's such a good result, you know what? Every time I go to the store, I'm going to try to bring as much kindness as I can. NASCAR diecast for sale. Good evening. Thanks for hopping on. Bonnie says, make it a lifestyle. For sure, Bonnie. So important. We don't just want this to be a flash in the pan, or, like I said, a day or a weekend. We want kindness to be ongoing. And again, like Bonnie said earlier, it's win-win for both. If I can be kind to someone, they're going to feel good. They're going to be probably more kind to me, which is nice, and or more kind to those people that they have to deal with after they deal with me through the rest of the day. And again, that's how we spread that light and that positive energy, that positivity pandemic. It starts something simple like being kind to those we have to deal with. A lot of us are dealing with different situations, different work environments, ever-changing work environments, again, based on the pandemic and now the weather and things going on. We're still just learning how things are going to work. So it's very important, again, to be patient. And again, if we can be kind to people, that's going to help them cope and get through things a little easier. Again, even if it's just for a brief moment when you are kind to them, that brief moment counts. And it makes a big, big difference for people. And if they get a few of those moments, then again, that's how we get a really great day. Or again, if you can give them a little bit, they'll give that little bit to somebody else. And that's how we can kind of grow and evolve and have that positive sort of mindset and area and environment around us so that we don't have to worry about negative energy creeping in because we're mostly light. It's positive. We can create that environment around us by, again, being kind and being purposeful with our movements and with our interactions with people, so that, again, we can get the most out of them and try to keep things at a nice nice level of lightness, nice bright area around us, so we can maybe handle some of these heavy situations because we're further away from the darkness. So when something dark comes, again, think of it, if I could reach my dimmer switch, I'd do that. Now think of it more of a dim than a darkness. You can still see around and still navigate if it's dim better than if it's dark. So again, maybe it doesn't draw us back to that darkness so deeply. And then again, it's easier to overcome and move forward. So think of it again as almost preventative medicine, just like movement. We can't stop the effects, say, of aging, but we can slow the effects down by being active. That's one of the benefits of activity and exercise, is kind of slowing the aging process. It's going to happen, but we can slow it and make it less severe by being active. Maybe we can make the dark moments less severe by spending more time in that bright light of darkness that, again, that we get sucked in. This gets dim for a bit, and then we have the skills and the tools in place because, like Bonnie said, we make it a lifestyle that we can bring ourselves out of it quickly, or we know who to be around to bring us out of it, to help us come out of it, to make sure we don't spend too much time in that darkness. So I just want to touch on those, and again, the conception and the approach of Friday the 13th, and just any kind of days of the week, or again, any just activities or projects or some of those things that we don't enjoy doing. Again, it's all about perspective. Some of this kindness and gratitude and changing our lifestyle, like Bonnie said, can make a big difference in how we approach things. And if we can be kind and, again, spend more time in that light, we're probably not going to dwell the things we have to do as much because, again, we're more skilled and more practiced at finding the good and finding the bright side of things to, again, keep that light around us and keep us in that positive mindset. So, again, you can see how one of those kind of affects the other. So, again, think of your perspective. If you're feeling negative about something coming up or something that's ongoing even, try to shift your perspective and shift your focus as best you can to shake it around a little bit. And again, it's not going to happen just like that. It's not going to be a one-time thing. It's going to take practice. It's going to take work. It's going to take some consistency. It's even going to take trial and error of how do you flip that in your mind? How do you change your perspective? How do you find that good perspective? It's going to be tough for some things to find the positive perspective of it. But again, stick with it. Do your best. Be as consistent as you can. And over time, it'll become more and more automatic. And you'll spend, again, more time in that positive mindset. And again, for the rest of the weekend, really overemphasize kindness. How can I bring kindness to this situation? How can I put the I in kind, like we talked about before, to this situation? And again, really be aware of it, do your best to bring it in, and then really reflect on it. How did you feel after that situation? How could you bring more kindness in? Or is this something you could do all the time? Should you always be super aware of how you can bring kindness to a situation? Maybe that's a perspective and a lifestyle choice that we can make, where we make it a little more of a prominent thing that, yeah, you know what, I should be focused more on kindness and how can I be kind? I get too caught up in the rat race of everyday life and the alerts and pings and all the things I have to do. Maybe I should focus on being more kind. Maybe that would help me be a little more productive at work and be a little less stressed, or give me that exit from it, or keep me in that brightness a little bit longer. Again, we're always trying to ascend till the end, as we've said. We always want to learn about ourselves. We want to take learning moments from these. So when you throw out more kindness to people, we want to learn from it. When you try to come at things from a different perspective, we want to learn about ourselves and how that affects us. So again, we can grow and be the best version of ourselves we can be. So feel free. Let's hear from you in the comments, either in these in the replay, or again, DM me or post on my profiles how you're putting kindness, extra kindness in this weekend, and how you felt after showing that kindness, and what is something, maybe one thing, one area where you can change your perspective. So maybe what area is it? How can you change your perspective a little bit? And then again, something we can kind of follow up on as we get going down the road. So how can you put more kindness in and what's one area you can change your perspective and come at things from a brighter, more positive approach to make the most of them and get really good, high quality results. Let's hear from you in the comments or DMs, whatever you prefer. That's it for tonight, gang. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, I always appreciate you being here and the interaction and the support. Remember, always strive to be, make yourself the priority you deserve to be by striving to be operationally fit. Take care, gang. Enjoy your weekend.